Meanwhile, in the pod cave.
And welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Podman Ron.
And boys, the cave is dusty. The pod cave is very dusty.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I think, June, July?
It's probably been, I forgot, this is episode number 198 on our road to 200.
Wow.
That was really our goal that we set up at the beginning of the year to be, the end of the Podmen, of course, at episode 200.
Actually,
What?
that was the goal for last year.
That was the goal from last year. And also, as we're doing our slow introductions here,
There he is.
Alex,
I'm here. It's me. I'm here.
he forgot our number. That's how long it's been.
I'm playing Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
Alex is in a Guy Ritchie production. Apparently, we got the single camera shaky cam going on as he wanders through his apartment.
Yeah, very good. We were just saying, Alex, that the pod cave is dusty. You forgot how to dial in. It's been a while since we've gathered. Movies have come and gone out of theaters without our reviews somehow or another, right?
Your apartment's not that big. Where do you keep walking around at?
I gotta go outside. Give me a second.
Wow, he is. It takes him 5 minutes to get from his bedroom to outside.
What's the square foot of that apartment?
And then he loses signal. So.
He's been walking the entire time we've been on the podcast, and he still isn't outside yet.
Okay. There he goes. He's outside now.
It's slow. It's slow out here. Okay, we're trying our best.
All right. Well,
we need to adjust. Or we need to look at the intern's budget.
The intern's living in a very nice place.
Yeah, this is
somewhere in Middle America.
By the way, is this episode brought to us by Pepsi Zero Mango?
Oh, my God. I mean, how horrible can that be, Brian?
It's fantastic.
It's Pepsi-tastic.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Pretty good.
Has anybody else tried it?
I have not.
I've never had it.
No. I tried the Coke 3K, and I thought it was okay.
Oh, the Coke 3K was awful. It was like rose water or some shit in it. It was.
I loved my rose water flavored Coca-Cola.
It was fucking awful.
Better than my Zero Mango.
But that Zero Mango, I swear by it.
Okay.
Not as good as Dr. Pepper strawberry and cream.
Oh, that's horrible. I hated
the strawberry cream, really especially good. If we put peanut butter whiskey in it.
Peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, that's a dangerous
Let me
combo.
ask you, what is Coke Triple K or what the fuck?
3K. It's just their same shtick as everybody else. They're just trying to come up with different flavors to get you to buy a Coke. Yeah.
It's the Coke of the year 3000. This is what your descendants, many, descendants down the line will be drinking.
Yeah, but isn't it like it's kind of racist? 3K Coke.
What?
No. 3,000.
I want to see where this is heading.
No, you don't.
I don't.
Well, you just
think we do.
3K.
As in 3,000.
What does that have to do with the race?
Oh, my God.
3Ks.
Don't try to make them say it out loud, please.
The KKK. I get it.
I was just saying.
And we're less than 5 minutes into the first podcast of the past 6 months, and this is where we've landed up. Soda drink reviews, soda reviews, pop reviews.
Alex is wandering around the apartment.
Oh my God, Alex! I'm going to have to turn his video off.
Am I allowed to wander in my space? I'll turn my video off.
There you go.
No,
much better. Okay.
I was getting dizzy.
You old ass man.
So put me down.
It's like I'm playing a video game, swinging from city to city. All right, hey, so back on track. The Podmen, nerd news and movie reviews, and we don't have anything. I don't think. I mean, maybe we have a little bit of nerd news, but
I got a review of Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, perfect time.
There we go.
That's
Only a decade too late.
6 years late.
Hey, I'm finally catching up to it, so I'll give my review for my.
Who wants it? Of this show that's been out for years.
That I told him to watch for several years.
Yeah,
and he blew me off.
Back in episode 97.
That show is fantastic. One of the best shows.
Wow.
We can also talk about Spider-Man 2. Has no one here even bothered to play it? I mean, come on.
Josh was been playing it nonstop.
Yeah, because it's amazing.
I think he made it to level 22 in the first day or something.
First 10 minutes.
I'm trying to space it out because I played the first game like 10 times, 100%ed it 10 times. Because I spent a total of 10 days on that game. I think I can tell you how much time I spent.
I know Joshua said earlier he was like, I just saved people from a burning building. So he was swinging by and there was a burning building and he went in and saved people.
I spent on the first Spider-Man game. I spent 293 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
you could have been podcasting that whole time.
I could have been.
Maybe you ought to just.
How many of those were during an episode of the Podmen?
Yeah, exactly.
That showed.
I think there's some episodes of the Podmen where I also was playing Spider-Man.
Well, now that your camera's off, we suspect you may be doing the same at this moment. But
no, I'm still wandering around my apartment.
Oh my God. Okay, Brian, let's
get his steps in.
Let's try to find some news to talk about. All right, Brian, get us somewhere in the past, call it 5 days worth of news. How about that?
5 days? Nah, we're going to go back further than that.
The writer's strike ended.
The writer's strike ended, but not for everyone, apparently. So there'll be a common theme with some of this, and that common theme is Marvel Television is not doing so hot.
No.
Which is what it needs, though, honestly, right?
Yeah, that's
sounds like
absolutely
even the creatives agree.
I would disagree.
Well, and
I agree.
What?
No, I just think that everything they put out now, everybody's just going to jump on it regardless.
Yeah, but it's been garbage.
Except Loki.
Loki season 2.
I like this season of Loki better than last season. It doesn't make my head hurt quite as much.
I love Loki.
But so
lately from Marvel though.
Started about this She-Hulk. I mean, She-Hulk was probably the lowest of low bars. I mean, She-Hulk.
I'll give you She-Hulk, but after She-Hulk, I mean, okay,
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Oh yeah, awful. Secret Invasion. Drivel. The
lowest of lows. Worse than She-Hulk.
I retract what I said.
The wet fart that was Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion is worse than She-Hulk, man. At least we got Daredevil back. God damn, that show is awful.
I think what made me the maddest, though, was She-Hulk. It was like the writers were just like, fuck it. Fuck it. You know? We're going to write whatever we want. No, we're going to, they've given us this and we're just going to bastardize this material as much as absolutely possible. So, but yeah, of the ones, I didn't, Secret Invasion was just dull and pointless. She-Hulk actively makes me angry when I think about that television program.
I mean, you were complaining about this when the episode, whenever it came out, right? We heard your opinions of this. You're still mad about it.
I'm still angry.
You're still angry about it.
I'm still pissed. And it's not because of the feminism or any of that. They just shit out. They didn't care anything about the property. They didn't even care about the narrative, the comic book narrative. It was just throw some shit at a wall. Oh, I thought that was funny. Okay, well we should put it in the show. And then there was no oversight. But back to the news piece of this, or as this is continued to be a problem for Marvel. First, we got news about 2 weeks ago that the Daredevil writers have all been fired. They had already, I think they were already up to like the fourth or fifth episode was going into pre-production or something. They've scrapped the entire series, and they're starting over fresh.
All right.
So, and a part of this was basically the whole, be reborn is kind of a bait and switch. The fact that they were Born Again, the fact that they named it Born Again, everybody wanted to, that's the most famous Daredevil storyline. It had nothing to do with that storyline. Right. So I think there was also a concern over when people tune into this, they're going to expect the Born Again, storyline, and they're going to get pissed real quick when they realize they're not getting it. So plus, they had the decision of not bringing back Foggy or Karen Page. Right. All that shit's pretty, I don't know. It seemed like they were already like just stumbling right out of the gates. So it's going back to it's being reworked. The scripts are being completely redone, and I would be willing to bet before too long once the actors strike is over, we're gonna see that Foggy's back at least.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're going to have a recast of Daredevil. That the Charlie Cox or whatever is going to be too old to play him.
Well, that's a possibility too at that point, because it's going to be 18 episodes. Now I think you're going to have two things happen. I think they're going to announce Foggy's back as a show of goodwill and solidarity to the fan base, and then two, I got a feeling it's getting cut from 18 episodes down to 9.
Yeah, I'd say 9 to 12.
Yeah. That's one. Two, also out of all of this, we've gotten news about some of the other properties and the problems they've had. So they've said now they are no longer going to do limited series. Everything they're going to greenlight from now going forward will have the intention of having multiple seasons.
Okay.
Right? Because we don't know if we're getting another season of Moon Knight. Right? She-Hulk, we don't know. Secret Invasion, nobody wants. Right? So now going forward, the properties will be intended to have multiple seasons.
Okay.
They also said with Secret Invasion, there was a lot has come to light out of Secret Invasion. It had ended up only being 6 episodes. There was no heroes in it, right? There was no crossover with any established Marvel heroes,
right?
And apparently they fired that whole crew. Or they fired that showrunner after about a year of developing the show, hired somebody else. The other guy comes in, and it was just a shit show the entire time. It was like there was constant infighting on the set between creatives, cast, everybody. So, yeah, they basically it sounds like Secret Invasion should have just been scrapped altogether, but they cut it down to 6 episodes and threw it out there to no fanfare whatsoever. And then finally, along the same lines, the rumor now is that the Wonder Man TV show has been scrapped. So we will no longer be getting the adventures of Simon Williams.
Wow. I heard that crap. I read an article about today. So
that makes me sad.
That does not make me sad whatsoever.
Makes me sad a little bit. I think that could have been really good, but that's all right. I'll cry about it later.
Yeah. Alex, what are your takes on this stuff? You have your finger on the pulse of some of this Hollywood
on all the
shenanigans.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think everything is the right decision. I think it sucks for those creatives that were involved in those projects, because I think especially for that Wonder Man show was being, and Brad and Brian, don't crucify me here because I'm on PMR's team, but it was being made by the same guy who was doing who did Shang-Chi, which I really enjoyed.
Of course.
And so I really like him as a creative. Dustin Lin is his name, and he's really talented, and I like his projects outside of MCU. I mean, he does some really great stuff. So it's kind of upsetting to see something of his canceled because I do think he makes quality work, and I love Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's playing Wonder Man, so that sucks. But I'm glad that a studio knows when they're stretching their limits.
Yeah.
And these are all projects that once Secret Wars is done, you can go back to these. I mean, we're going to have a bigger Marvel universe coming out of it probably anyway. So it'd be cool to come back to this. But I like that Marvel's like, you know what? Let's just focus on what we got to do right now. Let's tell the story we got to tell because we're not telling it well.
Well,
so I appreciate what they're trying to do. It just sucks for the creatives involved.
I feel like it's hitting the. I mean, we're getting lots of news about it now, but a lot of this shit I think was in play 18 months ago, right? I mean,
I agree.
There's been no movement on Shang-Chi 2. None. No movement, right? There's been no movement on doing anything else with the Eternals. None, right?
Fantastic Four.
Well, even Fantastic Four, like there's been nothing. So it's
I mean,
right. You've got to the point where like I think people have been saying at Disney for a while. Wait, this ain't right. And then you had other people that were just still shitting it out. Like we're still getting keep the gravy train rolling. And now everybody's kind of coming to the same realization. The reason why Shang-Chi didn't get a sequel announced immediately. Is the same reason why we're getting some of this shit right now. Is they realize, but they're not going to say it out loud until it starts to show up in the numbers. And now it's showing up in the numbers. Yeah.
My thing is, I think there's also there's some accountability here. I think we can all agree there's been a Disney effect these last couple of years on Marvel. I don't know why, but they don't seem to have. Like their oversight and their like who they're showing these movies to. Like there was an article that came out like I think last week that was like Disney execs thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was going to be a smash hit, like critically everything. And it was like, what do you mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like Disney signed off on that. And I'm like, when did Disney get so lackadaisy on shit? Like I watched Haunted Mansion a couple days ago, and I'm like, this is horrific. Wow. Some of the worst filmmaking I've ever seen. And that's not on the creators as much as it's on the fucking executives that are supposed to be watching this shit. But it's all made for mass appeal, but there's no effort behind it. So no one's going to fucking see it. It's just schlock. It's corporate bullshit. And it's, wow.
Well, what you got, I mean.
Fight the power.
Disney has been around for such a long time, right? Disney goes through these waves of shit, and it's almost like they have to like basically kick themselves in the nuts to fix it, right? But if you go back to the 80s, or you go back to the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, all those Disney classics, Jungle Book, all those, Cinderella, the Rescuers, like even the Rescuers, right? Did really well, and that's a good movie. Then you get to like the early 80s, and you get Black Cauldron, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, ugh. And then you get
the Apple Gang.
the Apple Dumpling Gang, 70s. Right? Yeah, that was the highlight.
You get Don Knotts was their mega star. I should tell you something. Don Knotts, please. You had through the 80s. You had, I guess, Oliver and Company, but Oliver and Company didn't do well. Like it was right. And then, so they just, for the better part of the 80s, from like 82 to 89, they shit the bed until Little Mermaid, right? And they hooked, they latched onto Alan Menken, right? And then you had that golden age again. You had Little Mermaid and Tarzan and all those movies, and then you get to like the late 90s, and you get that fucking Roseanne Barr chicken movie. What was that called? Home on the Range.
Oh God!
Right. And so then you get Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Oh, God. Right. And then they realize, oh my God, we're completely bankrupt creatively, and so what do? They bought Pixar. right? And then they wrung Pixar out until it was out of ideas. But luckily, they had enough overlap between Pixar and Marvel, right? There was some overlap there. And then you had Star Wars too. Well, they've now ran all of the creative out of Pixar. They've run all the creative out of Star Wars, just about. And now they've done it to Marvel. So it's like they can't. Once the money shows up,
they can't get their hands off of it.
They can't keep their hands off it. They can't stop fucking around with it.
Love that money.
And then they screw up the properties.
Well, it's weird because here's the thing I find so weird with Disney. It's like, and it's with every studio. And you're right. It's these waves. But you think they'd learn that when they get really talented creatives and they trust their teams and they just manage the marketing and the story. They handle pre-pro and they handle post. And that's it. And if you just let creatives be creatives on the project and you let them fight for their vision, your product turns out better. I mean, you get
Guardians 3.
You get Guardians 3. I mean, in other studios, you get Barbie, you get Oppenheimer. I mean, these are creative made movies that are purely based off the visionary mind of the directors and the writers. And it's like, it's funny that when you let that happen, good product is made. Not when you try to do some corporate shit. Not when you try to do some woke shit. Like, and I'm woke. I'm woke as can be. But goddamn, did we lose subtlety in the last fucking 3 years? It's just like make product that can inspire people and that can teach people, but don't bang it over people's heads. That's my fucking spiel. My bad. It's so irritating. I hate this. I hate the environment of filmmaking right now, and I hate studios because they suck.
Yeah, yes. The flip side of that is you've got writers who don't give a shit either. So like they're so soured on their own industry that they've stopped trying too. Yeah. Right. So it's this all or nothing proposition. Give me total creative control and I'll put in amazing work. If there's any oversight, I don't want to do it. And that's Marvel 101 because Kevin Feige is going to micromanage every step of this process.
Yep.
Right. The only reason we got Guardians 3 is because James Gunn got in early enough. Right. Took a property nobody expected to do anything with, and it blew up. And so now we're a third movie in. Disney's got all sorts of egg on their face because they fired him to begin with and had to beg him to come back. So he came into the whole project with enough equity and stroke to get the movie he wanted to make made. Right. But nobody else is going to do that. Kevin Feige's not going to let anybody else, come in and do that. Lord. So, it's just well and truly fucked. And that's the thing too, is there is a period of Marvel characters that we skipped right over, right? Yeah. We went from 60s Marvel to 80s Marvel, picked up a couple of 70s characters and then shot to the 2000s. Right. And I know the 90s are not the greatest, the late 80s and early 90s and through the 90s aren't the greatest period for comics, but there's still good stories there. Right. There's still things you can work on or there you can work to. And you got like we still haven't got Fantastic Four. We still haven't got X-Men. It's just bizarre. Like, why the hell why don't we have Nova at this point? Nova, we should be on a second Nova movie by now. Yeah. Man, what the fuck? Well, we should be on a second Nova movie and teasing a new Warriors movie.
We got the Marvels coming up in a couple of weeks, though.
Oh, that's they're saying that's set to potentially be the worst Marvel opening in history.
And somehow or another, Brie Larson wants out of it.
I think that movie looks pretty okay. I don't see anything outrageously bad in the trailers, but I mean, at this point, I have no hope. Like I don't even know if I'll see it opening weekend. I don't know. I'm just out of it.
That's going to continue to get bad press because people just shit on it.
PMR, we can barely hear you there, PMR. You're sounding a little robotic.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yep.
I'm just saying, just people just, without even seeing it, they're already wanting to shit on it. So,
yeah, I don't like that, but I'm not a fan of that either.
I don't want to. Here's the thing. I don't feel like I need to see it. I'm not seeing it because of Brie Larson. I'm not seeing it because I don't care about any of these characters. The one character I did probably care about was Nick Fury, and not after Secret Invasion.
You turning your back on Nick Fury?
Like, what the fuck?
hey,
I'm ready to move on to just Nick Fury Jr. I wish they'd established him in Secret Invasion and killed Sam Jackson.
need you to get off property for
Wow. Well, look at that. I didn't think we had any new news to talk about, but
I'm going to be stressed out.
Alex is all stressed out and is mad at the studios, and God, PMR. PMR, he always keeps us on our toes. Hey,
if you could just mute us.
Yeah, just mute us. I mean, he's going to come back and give us our review of Rebels, I hope, because I know. Hey, let me ask you this, though. Has anybody been watching Ahsoka?
I have.
I'm just winging it here, Brian. I don't know what else to
I've
do.
got more news.
Oh, talk,
I've got
please.
some more news.
Keep talking just so we have some audio going over unwanted audio.
Right. So a big sort of, and it's probably the bad news for the big two comic publishers, but they announced there's a new imprint coming to Image will be the ones printing it, but Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Francis Manapul, Brad Meltzer, Peter Tomasi, and in the picture, I don't know why they're not saying it, but in the picture is Grant Morrison, posing with them when the announcement's made. So maybe they haven't announced what book he's going to be on yet, but I mean, it's like a murderer's row of writers and artists from DC. And so people are liking it too when, Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane left Marvel, right? But the new imprint's going to be called Ghost Machine. It's not going to focus specifically on, the whole thing is they're wanting to kind of break away from just superhero comics.
Of course.
So they've got one of the characters is Geiger. He's like a radioactive man. One of the characters is the Redcoat, right? Which kind of seemed like the old backup stories in Watchmen, right? The black. Oh my God, what was the pirate comic in the back? Anyway, but yeah, so they're starting their own imprint, which Mark Millar had said a few months ago, like the big three need to. All of these creators, these A-list creators, need to go back to Marvel and DC, and it's good for the industry. Not seeking a paycheck, but going and trying to course correct some of these characters for Marvel and DC, and get some buzz around comics again, because comic shops are closing left and right. And I've got a guy that I talked to that owns a shop, and he basically said nobody used to have the Wednesday Warriors. They'd line up, they'd be there on their lunch break, they'd grab their books, they'd sit in their car and read them before they headed back to work. He's like, you don't have that anymore. Like, that's gone. That we haven't had that even through COVID, or like since COVID or before. You don't have that. People show up, they buy the books based on the cover art and speculation that it might go up in value. So comics are now baseball cards. So but yeah, instead of going back to Marvel or DC, probably like 5 or 6 of the best creators of the last decade have all just set up their own imprinted image. Okay. So not great news. Alex, had you heard this?
Yeah, I have. There's a lot of comic book. It was New York Comic Con, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They announced it at Comic Con. There's a lot of announcements there. I mean, just that kind of stuff. And then there's also just the big two publishing and their new initiatives. I mean, the Ultimate Universe coming back and all that. I'm just like, oh my God, they're really trying to revive this industry. But man, they're just producing schlock. I mean, DC, I swear they switch every year on who's producing better stories. DC's probably right now, I don't know. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to care.
It's hard to care. It's kind of like the movies. No one cares about the movies. No one cares about the comic books. Maybe it just, again, it'll go through a little bit of a resurgence, but it just needs to die out for a few years, and then people will care again, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe so. One more comic story. I thought this was good. Like they announced, PMR did not. They announced that Garth Ennis is going to take over the James Bond comic.
I didn't know
Garth
there was
Ennis
a James
Preacher
Bond comic.
Right? And The Boys. So, I don't know. That seems pretty fantastic to me. I will be picking that up day one. But yeah.
And reading it in your car during your lunch break.
Reading it in my car on my lunch break, yes. So,
yeah. Has anybody watched Gen V or whatever that is?
I actually haven't.
I have. I watched it.
I've watched a few episodes. It was like The Boys, right? Good enough.
Yeah, it's the same. It's good enough, yeah.
Good enough.
We've got, I think that's pretty much news, but we do have, no. I don't know if I want to talk about this now or, yeah, I'll talk about it now. All right, so.
All right.
In the promotion for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom this week, the pitch that's going around now, or like the talk track around the movie, is that it is a buddy cop movie, but with Ocean Master and Aquaman, very akin to a Podman favorite, Tango and Cash.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like a dream come true, though, right? You're sounding kind of disappointed in it, but I would think that this would be like, all right, I'm in now. No?
Except it hits a little too close to home. PMR, do you know what I'm talking about?
Hey, sorry. What are you talking about?
The fact that they're now positioning the new Aquaman movie as a buddy cop comedy a la Tango and Cash between Ocean Master and Aquaman.
Did we talk about this? This was like a heist, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we didn't. Somebody presented a script to us about 20 years ago. You don't recall this? Because this, when I read it, it hit a little too close to home. It brought back some not so great memories.
Wow.
You made fun of that guy.
I did not make fun of his
And now he's a Hollywood writer.
No, he's not.
No, he went the other way.
So we had a subscriber at the shop that's name was Ponytail Mike. And we used to. Well, his name was Mike. I forget his last name, but he had a ponytail. And so it was.
Let's just call him Ponytail
name,
Mike.
Brad.
What's that?
It wasn't his Christian.
No, Ponytail was not his.
It wasn't on his birth certificate.
Close enough.
But here's the thing. Let me give you some backstory. So Ponytail Mike, his name was Mike, and he had a ponytail.
Right.
And so he was named Ponytail Mike because we had a nickname for everybody that came into the shop.
It's different than Elevator Mike.
Right. You're right. We already had a Mike. There was Elevator Mike. So if I said Mike, you're like Elevator Mike. No, Ponytail Mike.
No.
All right.
I got it. Right. We had G.I. Jerk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We had he collected those 12-inch G.I. Joes, and he was kind of a creep. He'd go to those Hooters beauty pageants and take
take creepy pictures of them.
Yeah, take all creepy pictures of them. He'd sit underneath the stands.
Well, he wanted to get that kind of a different perspective there.
Well, good angle. We had the Duke boys. It was a couple good old boys. They didn't mean any harm.
No harm. No.
John McEnroe.
We had the Duke boys. We had John McEnroe.
We had Goblin Girl.
Oh, Goblin Girl. God, I wasn't going to go there. I don't think I ever called her that. I think that was a.
Well, not to her face.
No.
I think PMR would say that one, and we'd all just kind of cringe and go, "Yeah, we know who you're talking about."
Well, bless her heart.
Who else did we have? Who else do we have?
In all honesty, she did look like a goblin.
Oh God, he won't stop.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
No. I mean, you can't help the way you look, and if you look like a goblin, you look like a goblin.
Bless her heart, she looks like a little goblin girl.
Yeah.
So, Ponytail Mike, he would come in and he would tell us that he would, he always had some. Well, for a long time, he would come in and try and play the Star Wars CCG with me. Right, because he wanted to play it, and I would work at the shop, and if he came up like on a Tuesday night or something, it was dead enough where I could play and wait on a customer, and then come back and finish playing the game. But he would come up, and he would always build his deck specifically to beat me. And so after a couple of weeks of it, I just started changing my deck every time he came in.
Right.
And so he would build this whole like meta strategy around the deck I played the week before, and then I would crush him this week. And then next week he'd build a deck built to fight the deck he fought me. He was always a week behind.
You were one step ahead.
And so I would just but he would also come in and he would talk about that he was writing a script. He's working on a script. He had a notebook. He'd be writing it. He was working on a script, working on a script. And so one day we got him to kind of break down what the script was about. And he was like, well, it's going to be three trilogies. So 9 movies.
Okay.
3 trilogies. And the first movie starts in Atlantis, and it's a heist movie. Right? And so he's trying to explain it to us, and we're being the peanut gallery. We're just kind of like, snickering and picking it apart and stuff. And I think I said, what are they're trying to steal clams from the bank, that sort of thing.
We were a great support back then.
We were a great support system for him. And so, but he kept describing it, and he's like, well, there's these 2 police officers, and one's the wild and crazy one, and the other one's by the books. And we're like, it's Tango and Cash.
In Atlantis.
It's Tango and Cash in Atlantis. And so, like, you could tell he did not like that analogy, but the way he was teeing it up was he was like, he watched Tango and Cash and then wrote this script and did not put the 2 together, that he had basically stolen the script for Tango and Cash and put it in Atlantis. But so when we said it's Tango and Cash in Atlantis, like, he kind of like had that realization wash over him that that's exactly what he had written. And I don't think he ever mentioned the script again, right? Now,
until decades later.
Mike is no longer with us, right?
No.
He passed away. He passed away probably 10 years ago, I guess.
Maybe the day after you guys mocked his script?
No.
Pure coincidence.
It was at least a decade later.
And Elevator Mike is no longer with us either.
No,
that's true.
Weird.
That is true.
Neither is Goblin Girl. So.
Wow. Are we the only survivors?
Long in memoriam.
This is,
Wow.
So anyway, Ponytail Mike, we would tease him that it was Tango and Cash in Atlantis. And so then when Aquaman, when they're making the comparison that it's Tango and Cash in Atlantis, I'm like, this
rings a bell.
Somebody stepped on Mike's grave, right? Like, this is, or maybe it was his script. Maybe somebody found his script.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that he willed it to somebody or another, and it finally.
I want to believe, it's a work of love. Somebody sent the script in, and Jason Momoa said, "This is it."
But I would like
this is the movie we're making.
I would like to say also, and Brian, I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. Is he also came up with a script for Jason versus a good 10 years before the movie actually happened, or maybe
Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah, don't you remember?
Oh, you broke up. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he came up with a script.
Wow.
And we're like, they're never going to make that.
They'll never do that.
They did.
And they did.
He was a visionary.
He was. Wow.
I guess what I'm saying is we were the idiots.
Yes, that's what you're trying to say.
You were the assholes.
We thought he was the idiot, but in actuality, it was
good
us.
Ideas. Yeah.
It was us.
The two guys running the comic book shop was the idiot.
Who thought that the two guys running a comic shop would have had the wrong of it?
We thought we had all.
You had it all figured out.
Yep.
This jackass is doing Tango and Cash in Atlantis.
Next. Well,
Your books.
go sit in your car and read it, you asshole. Loser.
You gonna buy these pogs or not?
Buy these pogs.
Can I interest you in some slammers?
No
This
compl-
right here, this is a 3-ounce slammer. Oh, Lord, I don't think you're ready for it yet.
No collection is complete.
These are brass slammers. These are much heavier.
Ooh, look at this. Feel that. Feel the heft of it.
Maybe by the time the slammers come back, then comic books and movies will come back as well.
Well, that's what me and Brian were talking the other day. Honest to God, I think we should bring back trading cards from like movies, like they used to do back in the 70s and 80s. You know,
That'd be fun.
No one does that anymore. Does anybody do that?
I don't know.
There might be a reason.
There's a Tops has a trading card like thing that they like, but it's like online, but they do movies.
Yeah, it's
no one wants
NFTs.
real cards.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you people want real cards. I mean, if you put it out there, I guarantee
what the
you make
people
money on it.
Brad, what are they going to put in their spokes when they ride their bike?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where will they get their old piece of gum at? Their old dusty, hard piece of. God damn it!
Brad, you remember how exciting it was to complete that 100-card set of Star Wars trading cards?
Oh, completely, yeah.
You know, you got that last card that you were missing.
Yeah.
You know, I think the kids need that today. They need the chase cards around like they used to.
This is probably a good segue into something I was going to talk about later, but we need to get through the in memoriam.
Oh my goodness!
People in the comic book shop?
No, yeah, in addition to.
Who else?
Are you kidding?
Oh, there's Fran the dog.
Fran the dog.
Yeah, we had some deaths. We had some folks depart us.
Like since the last time we spoke.
Since the last time we spoke, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So you had Michael Gabon. Dumbledore's passed away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't. I liked him as Dumbledore.
Well, he's dead, so.
Well, he had PMR stamp of approval.
All right. Did you tell him that before he died? I mean, is he?
Now it's a tragedy. Now that I like him, it's more of a tragedy than it would have been.
Yeah.
We've had. I mean, this one kind of hurt. Just last week, Suzanne Summers died.
Oh, yeah.
Passed away.
That was that was very surprising. Well, why?
Shocking.
I mean, she did the Thigh Master.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff.
She's the sheriff. Yeah, that's right.
She's
You know, you remember that show? She's the mom.
She just took it one step at a time, step by step.
Step by step. You know, I mean,
Brick by brick.
I mean that, and plus, no one knew she was sick.
Well, I think it's probably safe to say that everybody kind of forgot about her for the most part, except for those around her, maybe. I don't know if Hollywood was like, oh, my God, who are we going to get to play Agatha Harkness? What about Suzanne Summers? Oh, I forgot all about her.
Oh, she would have been perfect. She's dead. All right.
She did.
But we all agree that she was probably one of the better members of Three's Company, right? I mean,
yes.
She was the best of the blondes.
Of the blondes. Well, we all know who the real star of Three's Company was.
The Roper, Mr. Roper.
Mr. Roper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mr. Roper was the reason you tuned into that show.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely he was.
I love Norman Feld.
Norman Fell rocked that show,
Is he dead?
Unfortunately.
And dead.
Such a shocker.
And then we had another smoke show passed.
What?
I mean, just a couple days ago.
Who's that?
Burt Young from the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
That one hurts. That one was a surprise.
Yeah, Paulie from the Rocky films. Although, it is weird that he's 83, so he's the same age essentially as Sylvester Stallone, but he hasn't been in a Rocky movie since Rocky 3?
No,
4. He was in 4.
No, he was in Rocky 6, actually.
Was he?
He was in Rocky 5 because he's the one that he lost their money.
That's right.
Money, and he lost it. Then he was in Rocky 6, and I remember that was because Adrian was dead in Rocky 6, and he was the one that, helped Rocky get through all that.
Was he in 6? I didn't really remember he was in 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Burt Young passed away, but he's he could have been in on all these Creed movies.
Yeah,
they could have.
He was dead. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I
did kind of think he was already dead too.
Yeah.
Such a loss.
Oh, not a death, but it's knocking. What's his name? Michael Caine retired from acting.
Yep.
Who?
So that is a tragedy.
Exactly.
That's a
Michael Caine.
That's just when if we were doing a Deadpool, that would be number one.
He doesn't need any more houses in Bermuda.
After seeing photos from New York Comic Con, my number one would be Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Those were pretty bad. I cannot even believe they dragged that poor man out.
It reminds me of when Dr. Smith, remember from Dragon Con all those years ago, Dr. Smith was sitting there and they had him next to the Playboy bunnies through the ages. Now they were all in their 60s, but it was like the 1950s Playboy bunnies and stuff were sitting there. And I remember they had Dr. Smith. What was his name? The actor?
Oh my God.
Dr. Smith.
I want to say Zachary something or no? Yeah.
Jonathan Harris. Jonathan Harris.
Harris. Okay. Jonathan Harris.
So, but he's sitting there and he looks like he's just, there's nothing. Like he's just blank stare. I'm convinced they had like a broomstick up his sleeve when he was signing stuff to sign the pictures, but he's just sitting there in the wheelchair. And I remember the wranglers that were helping him, they all went to lunch. But what they did was they put the closed thing over his table, right? But he's still sitting there, and they just turned him sideways.
Oh my gosh.
And they went to lunch. And he's like, I remember the Playboy bunnies were still like bending over and like, he's just like dead to the world. They're bending over right in front of him, just ass in his face and nothing, no response whatsoever. It was just like, he was a doorstop.
Well, he was lucky they didn't drape the clothes over.
Just put it on top of him.
They should have just put the cloth over him instead of the table.
Was it me and you, Brad, or me and you, Brian, that saw him like eating like a peanut butter sandwich out in the lobby of one of the cons one time? He's just sitting out there, just the sandwich, and it was just.
Was it him or was it Anthony Daniels?
No, it was Jonathan Harris.
Okay.
Check out the text, the Pod-M text.
Uh-oh. We got late breaking news here.
Breaking news.
Well, it's just what we're.
Oh, it's the photo I was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. Jesus.
Wow.
Jesus.
It's like he's melting.
Did you see this, Alex?
No, I didn't see it. That's.
It'd be almost like, who's someone else that you would go see at one of these things, like William Shatner or something like that, where he's like,
road trip. You're missing a hell of an opportunity.
An opportunity to see William Shatner from afar.
No, he's gonna sign an
autograph. You get a picture with him. You can get an autographed photo or a poster.
You can watch Star Trek 2 with him. The best movie
can you run and get some more jujubes there, kid?
Yes, sir, Mr. Shatner. Right away.
Sure thing.
He's like 92 years old, Brad. This is your only chance.
I know.
William Shatner.
I think Brad's accepted that it's not a thing on his bucket list.
Yeah, I don't know. I think didn't last time you guys see him that he didn't really say anything to you?
No, he said good morning to me.
Oh, he did say that.
Morning.
It was very
He
exhilarating.
didn't say shit to me.
Brian's got a beef with him.
Oh, Mr. Shatner.
How much do I have to
How
pay
are
to
you,
get you to
sir?
say hello?
I said good morning to him. He ignored
Good morning.
and then he said good morning after we took the picture. Very nice.
Very nice. He,
Wow,
he
that sounds
literally
fantastic.
couldn't have said. There's the only thing less he could have said is nothing.
Well,
Very nice.
That's what Stan Lee did. I still think Stan Lee was a wax figure when I took a picture with him.
I remember when me and Jacob got our picture with Stan Lee. Like he was sitting right, and they kind of brought us in behind him, and so he couldn't make any eye contact or anything or shake your hand. And so he's there, and I walk around to his right, and Jacob comes over to his left, and he's like, basically like, is someone there? like, and he put his arm around Jacob and took the photo, but yeah, it was like he couldn't even hear. Like he had no, it was just.
Alex, did he move at all when we took a photo with him? He didn't. He just
he did not.
He didn't move whatsoever.
Like literally, met like a childhood hero. He didn't say jack did the shit.
I think he was a wax figure. I swear to God, I
It probably was.
think he was. I think they got $100 out of us, and we took a
We
picture.
took a picture of Stan Lee. It's still on my Instagram. It's my oldest post I still have up. It's
Wow.
me and Stan Lee.
It's right next to my William Shatner one. So.
Oh my God! Well, I still have my. I met Stan Lee when no one else wanted to talk to him, other than the fine folks of I think it was at BET that picked up Stripperella. So I met him and talked to him for like 10 minutes, and I got a Polaroid with him.
Yeah, I got a Polaroid with him.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, but I think my wife
You don't
has
know
it.
where that is?
No.
The
But
fuck?
I'm sure he
Like my
remembered
prized
it.
possession. God, that'd be so cool.
You got to
Stan
catch this
the man.
Stan Lee there, just straight out of Mallrats, Brad.
Yeah. I mean, I had to sit there for 10 minutes acting like I thought Stripperella was a great idea. Oh my God! I can't believe anybody hasn't thought of that one before. It's a good one, Stan. House of Ideas not running dry with you, big guy. Yeah.
How do you do it, Dan? How do you do it?
How do you
Now
do
go
this?
touch your nurse. Now go slap your nurse on their ass.
Hey, let me ask you something. Where are the hookers? Yeah, okay, Stan Lee, I'll get you hookers. True believer.
Gave Stan Lee grief in his last years. You know, they were
Excelsior.
Excelsior.
harassing the nurses and stuff. I mean, of course you're going to sexually harass the nurses.
Of course. I mean, that's what I look forward to getting old.
Then what are you paying them for? Healthcare? No.
I mean, no.
If you ain't being harassed, you ain't pretty enough.
That's right. They don't wear their little
Lessons
nurse
from the
outfits
pod,
anymore
man.
like they used to. The little hat and the little white outfit.
Yeah.
To all the ladies out there listening. There you go.
This is the pod, man. This is why we haven't recorded in 6 months.
Well, there any ladies that are listening to this are married to one of us, so
yeah.
yeah,
And
they
that's
know what they signed up
very
for.
low possibility any of them are actually listening to it.
That is a very low possibility. Speaking of wax figures, did you guys hear this thing about the controversy about the Rock's wax figure?
I call it the walk. The
Oh.
white rock. It's the walk.
I mean, he doesn't look like he's any darker than or lighter than any pictures you've seen of him either. It doesn't seem like to me.
But it looks like it doesn't look right. Like he looks white. Like he looks like a Caucasian male. It's very weird. Like he looks more like Vin Diesel than The Rock.
Maybe that's what's hitting the nerve.
Like it's so funny. I think it's
What's the
fucking
problem
hilarious.
with it? What?
Yeah, he's too Caucasian. They made this wax figure of him for like some wax museum in France, and there's all sorts of controversy around it because he looks
That's what
he looks
it is.
Caucasian.
It looks white as shit.
I'm too Caucasian.
Sometimes I feel like I'm too Caucasian.
Most of the time. So yeah, that's the news and our in memoriam.
Wow, that's a lot of good stuff.
That only took us what, an hour?
We're in an hour before we can get to the Rebels review.
Okay, let me ask you this about Rebels. Okay, I watched the last episode today. All right.
Oh.
So all this, I don't know, 4 seasons I watched. It was the will they, won't they? Will they with
Sabine and Ezra.
No, Kanan and.
Oh.
So I'm like.
Oh, they did.
Well, yeah. When did they have time to bang and all that?
It's a kid show. Did you think they were going to show it?
I don't know. I mean,
He thought he was watching Gen V.
I just was like, all of a sudden, the last episode, she has a kid, and I'm like, they only kissed that one time before he died.
You don't know. The Force. He just put it there.
Yep. Virgin birth.
Were you sad about his death?
Yeah, I was bummed out about his death.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dad, spoiler, he's dead.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Kanan. Well, and what you may want to do, now that you've watched it, as we've said, Star Wars is all but dead at Disney, except for the stuff that touches really, what's his name?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
So if you go into the first episode of The Bad Batch, shows when Kanan's Jedi Master was killed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So you see Kanan as a child, as a Padawan. That show's good. I mean, it picks up on a lot of Rebel stuff, and then obviously Ahsoka.
I like the Bad Batch. I've watched some of the Bad Batch, but I hate that fucking kid on the Bad Batch. I can't stand that.
She gets better. Don't worry.
It couldn't get worse unless the only way she can get better is if they kill her.
No, she gets really cool. You'll like it.
So and then I need to go finish Bad Batch. I watched the first season, but not the second season. It's only been 2, I think.
Yeah, there's only been 2. They're both good.
But then we had Ahsoka. Alex, have you watched Ahsoka yet?
I have.
PMR's not yet, so we gotta watch what we say. But basically, it's how Rebels ends, right? Him and Grand Admiral Thrawn get thrown into the other side of the galaxy, right? By those whale things, and so. That's the whole thing. Is they're trying to go. Sabine is trying to go save Ezra. So, but it was 6 episodes, I think. It's really just a preamble to a movie. They haven't even announced it yet, but it's obvious what they're leaning towards is doing either a limited series where all of the Filoni stuff crosses over.
They have announced it.
They have announced the movie?
Yeah. Star Wars Celebration, Dave Filoni's, it's the culmination of all these stories. And
is it going to be a theatrical film?
Yeah, before the First Order. It's the before the First Order movie. It'll collide Mando and Ahsoka, Rebel, all of that.
Well,
yeah.
So
Bad Batch.
Pretty big cast. Yeah,
It'd be
Bad
cool.
Batch.
Yeah.
Everything. It's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, that's the best stuff by far.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
That's the best Star Wars.
I was surprised at how good Rebels was. I mean, every episode is great. I mean, they're 20-minute episodes, but they really feel like an hour. They pack so much action and dialogue and characterizations in there. I mean,
I wish I could tell you Ahsoka was as good as that, but it's not. But it's still fun. I think you'll enjoy it now having watched Rebels, and I think if you like those characters, you're going to keep enjoying it. But it's not as good.
Ahsoka, it's like they're putting all the chess pieces out on the board. They're not really.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not like a fully. It's what it's like is when you used to get the prequel comic books before a movie came out.
Yeah.
It's that. They're setting up all the pieces. They're telling you some stuff that you didn't have to know, but it's kind of cool to know. And then, but it's not really a fully baked, story arc. So, but it's good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it. Like I said, Rebels took me by surprise. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
For me, it has fucking.
So what, Alex?
For me, it has like the Luke Skywalker Mando. So it has some good stuff.
Yeah, they've got some great stuff, and they made Kanan like, a Han Solo type character, like actually finally made a cool Jedi.
Oh wow!
Let's face it, the Jedi's are not really that cool.
Not known for their coolness, or
well, in Ahsoka, probably the coolest character for me is Haran. Haran was kick ass. He's the droid.
Yeah, that or Balin. Balin's dope.
Balin was cool, although we're not gonna. I mean, he's dead, so.
No, he's not dead.
What?
No, the actor is.
Barry Stevenson. Sad.
But here's the one thing I do. My one gripe about Ahsoka is it needed more Chopper.
Oh man, Chopper.
Everything needs more Chopper though.
That droid was great. I mean that was a funny droid, man.
That's all PMR needs is a good droid.
Good robot, man. That's all I care about. No,
Chopper is my favorite. Is my favorite Star Wars droid. So hands down.
Like I said, it really caught me by surprise to how good it was. I was really surprised how much I liked it, and it being a cartoon. I mean, you even forget after you start watching that for a while, you just kind of forget that it is a cartoon, especially. I mean, they're really great. So.
Well, here's the thing. Like, there's trade-offs, right? Yes, it's a cartoon versus, live action. But at the same time, the shit they can do on the show would never be in a live action TV show for the budgets, right? So if you had the choice of doing She-Hulk as what we got or She-Hulk as an animated series, the animated series is going to tell better stories. Because there's no limits to what they can do versus the live action stuff. So that's the trade-off. Yeah, would I like to see like a no limits live action? Yeah, but it's TV. You're not going to get that. So if you want to have that big scope, that scale, animation's the way to go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. What PMR? You said you're watching something? Or just Rebels? That was the only thing you were going to talk about.
Rebels. What about you guys?
I'm trying to think. I haven't. What have I watched? I watched something recently. I've been not watching a lot of stuff, which is bad. But I've been really busy. I'm struggling to think of anything that I've really watched. I mean, I watched this movie called The Squid and the Whale, but I don't think y'all want to hear about that. That's just a depressing movie. That's just a meme movie.
That's an old one.
Never heard of it.
It's a goodie.
It came out in the 90s, I think, right?
Early 2000s? 2007?
Early 2000s? Okay.
Yeah. 2007, 2008. Maybe 2005. I think it was 2005.
Well,
the big start of Jesse Eisenberg's career.
Oh.
The more you know.
What was the end of his career?
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we can see the complete Jesse Eisenberg catalog between those two films.
Yep.
The highest of highs, the lowest of lows. I would say Zombieland is probably the highest of highs.
No, I'd say Social Network's the highest.
What?
Yes.
Zombieland is so much more entertaining than the Social Network.
You're on crack.
Zombieland?
Zombieland?
Yeah, I love Zombieland. The Social Network.
Zombieland 2, Alex?
It's one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen in my life. I think I've seen it like 6 times, 6 to 8, something around there. I love it. So good.
Yeah. Well, we watched. It's probably not worth. It's not for this crowd, but we watched Outlander, the full. Up to, I mean, I guess they got another like season and a half left that haven't come out yet. But Outlander, which is it's pretty okay. Like the romance novel stuff can get a little tedious. But the Jacobite rebellion, in Scotland versus England, and now they're into the Revolutionary War. So that stuff's pretty good. But then you got like the soap opera stuff, which is kind of cringy. So
I know something I've watched, and I know you guys have probably watched it. at least I know Brian probably has, is the Frasier reboot.
I have not. I've not. Like
How is Frasier?
Yeah.
I will say that Kelsey Grammer is great in it, and everybody else is very subpar. I think it'll get its footing. I think it'll get its groove. But right now, all the side characters are they're just not carrying the show as much as Kelsey Grammer is.
You mean my old coworker, Kelsey Grammer?
Your old coworker,
that's right.
Yeah. He's actually, I mean, pretty funny. He fits right back into the role. But everybody else is like, really trying way too hard.
Well, he's a Juilliard trained actor. You don't get better than him.
There you go.
I mean,
I think it just puts me off that why is he back in Boston and he's not going to go to Cheers? Like, that's just don't put him in Boston.
Well, here's the thing. I think eventually you cannot not have Cheers. I think eventually they will go back to Cheers, or they'll touch on the subject.
Just like Picard, right? Eventually it's going to have the old crew back together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it's gonna happen, but that the explanation is, I mean, why he's there makes sense. I mean, that's where his son lives. That's where Lilith and his son lived at. They stayed in Boston when he left. So, I mean, and he was just stopping in to visit his son and decided to stay because he wanted to have a connection with his son that he had never had. So, I mean, the third episode is probably my favorite because one of the things they talk about is in the past 20 years since he's been gone, he had a successful, like, Dr. Phil talk show. And the third episode is they show, like, a clips of his talk show, and it's pretty funny. It starts out, he's like, let me show you season 1. And it's like this real serious, Dr. Phil type show. And he goes, and this is what happened in season 13. And it's like it's just goofy and, really hams it up and everything for the audience. So, I mean,
Springer-esque.
It's very Springer-esque, very dumb. So it's pretty fun in that regards. But it's not nowhere near as funny as his old show or Cheers, of course. But I think given time, I think it'll pick up. I think everybody will get the groove in.
I don't know.
Well, we do have one show to talk about that I think at least me and Brian have watched all of. I know PMR I think is a couple episodes behind, but Loki.
Yep.
Loki is back.
The Loki Pokey Stick.
And man, so freaking good.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, and people aren't liking it. Like, it's not getting as good a ratings or reviews as the first season did, but I am enjoying it. Like, it's
what?
I love
like the shit on stuff now. I mean,
I love it. Love it.
It's a lot more Back to the Future sci-fi than the sci-fi we got, or in the time travel we got in the last season.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's so weird because if we all remember, I love Loki. Like, that first season was so cool to me and just so refreshing. I don't know why, but everything, like, the filmmaking seems like 10 times better. The writing is better. Like, it's just like, and it's a whole new team. It's a whole new team of writers, directors, showrunner, like, whole new team. The only person that's still a part of that, like, pre-production team is Tom Hiddleston as an executive producer. And you can just tell he loves that character. And it's just freaking cool, man. Like, it's just a great sci-fi show. And that Back to the Future vibe with a little bit of, like, Bill and Ted in it. It's like adult Bill and Ted with Mobius and Loki. I mean, it's just a blast. This last episode was so good. I mean, yeah, I'm having a ball. That show's amazing. I love it to death. It's by far.
It gave me a headache, so I'm going to wait till the rest of them come out and I'll watch it.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah.
Speaking of, I just saw this, Sit the Rock in our...
PMR, you got some echo going on.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, it's
Still
better.
got a little bit of echo, but...
You guys sent me the
static.
picture of the wax figure.
The Rock?
The Rock.
Good Lord, man. What's he packing in those trousers there? Jesus Christ.
I didn't even see it. Let me go back.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it. I just kind of left it be.
That's what he's complaining about. It's not big enough.
I mean, damn.
But doesn't he look like Vin Diesel? Like,
yeah, he does.
I need to go. I've got a photo when we went to California, and we were in Anaheim, and we drove over to Hollywood. We drove over to Hollywood for the we did like the Paramount Studios tour and everything. For whatever reason, where we stopped at had a display for Madame Tussauds, and it was Vin Diesel, and I got a photo with it, so I can put it up and I can compare what an actual Vin Diesel wax looks like. Yeah. The wax looks like versus what the Rock's one looks like. I'll go through for my photos and I'll find that for you guys.
Well, I don't know.
That's the least I could do.
I don't know who made his statue there, but they were very generous to him.
Well, I've been not watching something, but I've gotten back into something from I guess like the mid '90s. So PMR, and I've been talking about it, but apparently, the Overpower card game from the mid to late '90s. These guys have bought they didn't buy the rights to it. Fleer, Skybox, whoever they become, gave up the rights. Like the rights lapsed at 20 years. So these two guys have been trying to get the rights, and so they haven't bought it, but they've gone and they had to go and file a copyright and that sort of thing to take over the game from Fleer. And so they've got it done now, and they're announcing a new set. Now, what they've done right now is they're releasing some cards that are public domain. And they're saying they may do a set that's public domain, but they're also talking to the big three trying to get a comic, a superhero property for another launch, too. And they're saying that will launch sometime between now and the end of next year. They did a podcast on it like 2 weeks ago, and they're talking to the guy that got the license to do it, and he said it's big three, it's superhero. They won't sell what say what the property is yet, but it's probably going to be either DC or Marvel, or it's going to be Invincible. So Alex, I mean, it was before your time, but do you have any inkling, or do you remember anything to do with Overpower?
No, you just had me at Invincible.
So Overpower, basically, it was a card game. You pick a team of 4 characters. Your character cards didn't get shuffled into the deck. You'd have superpowers. You'd have power cards, they were like your ace, queen, king, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You'd have them in there, but you'd have 4 different power types: energy, intellect, strength, and fighting. Yeah. And so you'd build a deck of 60-ish cards with it, right? You didn't have mana. Like most games now, you have some sort of mana mechanism like Magic the Gathering. This didn't have that, right? So you would you'd build your deck, you'd have your characters, you'd have superpower cards, what's their special hits. You'd have their power deck, and then you'd have combination cards like Teamworks, where it's like 2 people hitting somebody at the same time. Uh-huh. But they made somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 characters for it. They did 5 or 6 Marvel sets, 2 DC sets, and 1 Image set, right?
Yeah.
And this is at the shop. That's what we played. I mean, you had people that would come in and get Magic from time to time, but what we always played was Overpower. Really, until the DC set came out. The DC set, they tried to change the meta for the game and really kind of screwed it up. And so at that time, people shifted over to either Magic or Star Wars, the Star Wars collectible card game. But there was another 4 sets after that. So they've announced that. So I'm like, we've gone from, they're bringing back G.I. Joe. They're bringing back superpowers. They're bringing back Masters Universe, right? They're bringing back. So it's like we're getting to the point now where like things from the 90s are coming back, and Overpower's one of them. So I've been like going down that rabbit hole, picking up cards. You can get lots of cards on eBay and stuff, pretty cheap, but building decks and everything. But yeah, that's what I've been doing recently is picking up those sets and playing with the kids. But they like it too. I mean, it can be complex, but it's also like, and you still get the deck building component and that sort of thing, and all the special cards are pretty cool, but you don't have the it's not like you feel like you're I would be like completely lost if I tried to join Magic now. Right. Or try to just pick up Magic now. Right. Like it's just, it's been around for 30 years. There's too many cards that are out there. There's too many mechanics that are too complex. This is just simple. If you want to play like some more advanced mechanics, you can. If you just want to build a deck and wail on each other, you can do that too. But it's pretty kick ass. So
it's funny you mention all that, because I did see an announcement today. I literally was just scrolling through Twitter, and Magic and Marvel are teaming up.
Yep. So I just saw it too. So I was fixing to say that. So that may be, counterintuitive to, that may hurt them getting Marvel as the property, but Marvel's the set they did the most expansions for. And if there's a set that they really need to kind of course correct and fix, they did 2 DC sets. They did Batman versus Superman and Justice League. And what they did was you had the max power for a character was 8, right? Well, DC had very few 8s, but they did double 7s. They'd have characters with 2 stats that were 7 each. Like Superman was 7 energy and 7 strength, which is kind of cool, but he still can't defend against an 8. So if the Hulk fought Superman is going to be, there's ways he can defend, but not many. The Hulk's is gonna land that hit almost every time, and that's what kind of broke it. That's what kind of broke the game for people trying to buy the DC stuff, because the DC stuff just would not mesh with the Marvel stuff. But yeah, if they do another set, DC would be cool. But I think, if I'm reading the tea leaves right, it's probably going to be Invincible, right? Because Invincible is a big enough back catalog. Kirkman has dabbled with gaming before, right? Because Skybound has a gaming division. Right. They're the ones that did that Super Fight game a couple years ago, right? Which is kind of like Cards Against Humanity. But yeah, I got a feeling it's going to end up being Invincible. And they've said, but they also said there'll be 36 new characters in the set. I don't know. Oh. I'm going to bring it up when we're up there for Thanksgiving. I'll bring some decks up so maybe we can play.
That'll be fun.
It's a good game. I always liked it. Just because I think that's the only really game I ever played, except HeroClix, because it was just simple.
Well, HeroClix was never simple, though. HeroClix seemed like it should be simple, but then it was always a pain in the ass about distance and sight lines and shit like that. And I would always just be like, fuck it. I'm done. Like, I'm done. This where it's the first couple sets, it was just you adding characters and just wailing on each other, right? Then they started adding mission cards, which you work into your deck, and it would basically change for that round, right? For every round you draw 8 cards, and you start and finish the round and then draw 8 new. But each round, it would change the criteria for that round. It might be like, strength cards are -1 to attack, or everybody adds 2 to their venture. Your venture is like your side bet to like whether you're going to win the round or not. And then they added later on like battle sites where you could have other characters like pop into your fight and throw a special and then leave, which was cool. And then finally, the last thing they added artifacts. So you could put the Infinity Gauntlet on a character and you'd get that character would get special abilities. you could give somebody the super soldier serum and their fighting would shoot up to 7. So it's pretty kick-ass. So
Pretty exciting stuff will be here.
Something I just read, not to interrupt, but I'm going to forget it. But I just read that Garrett Morris, and everybody knows who Garrett Morris is?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, what modern person? What hip person of today would not know who Garrett Morris is?
what was he was famous for the Saturday Night Live. He would do the this broadcast is for the hearing impaired.
Right.
And he'd be in the little oval in the corner, and whatever Chevy Chase said, he would just shout it.
He was the first man to ever play Ant-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I read something where he just went on some talk show or one of these little podcast shows, and he revealed that Sherman Hemsley of Jefferson fame was a closeted gay man.
What? I thought everybody knew that.
Well,
the way George Jefferson would prance around when he get mad at Wheezy.
Man, George Jefferson was the bomb, man.
How about that?
He was the church deacon on Amen, PMR.
Amen.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah. I don't think he was gay.
I doubt it.
No, I think he was.
I think if Garrett Morris said it, I kind of want to believe it.
As Jerry Seinfeld would say, and that's okay.
And that's okay. Nothing's wrong
There's
with
nothing
that.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think Garrett Morris is just trying to, claim some fame here.
Well, Garrett Morris needs all the fame he can get.
That's right.
I always liked Garrett Morris on Saturday Night Live. He just never got any kind of traction back then.
He was like the Tim Meadows of the 70s.
That's the Tim Meadows of the 70s. Poor Tim Meadows, man.
Tim Meadows is in good stuff all the time now.
Yeah, he's getting a steady paycheck. And Garrett Morris, he probably was on, what was he on, Two Broke Girls for like 9 seasons or some ungodly amount of time like that. So he's all right.
He's doing all right.
Kenan Thompson.
Now he's just talking shit about Hidden Hollywood.
Yeah, you know what? Poor Shark. Leave the man alone. He's dead.
Yeah, gay or not, who cares? He dead.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Certainly not PMR.
No.
I'm woke.
You're going to have to go back and watch a little The Jeffersons with new eyes now.
I'll be like, what? Now I see it.
Now I see it.
I can't unsee it.
I can't.
Now I can't watch it anymore.
This may be a shock to you. You know who else was in an 80s television show, a prominent 80s television show that was found to be gay later on?
Wow.
Oh, my God. Found to be gay.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Jim J Bullock.
What? That's a shocker. Don't say it.
Too close for comfort.
Don't say it. Jim J Bullock was gay?
Jim J Bullock.
Wow. I kind of thought
was gay.
Why he was so upset that he got raped by 2 women.
A very special episode.
I was 10 and I figured that out. I was like, oh.
Daddy, why is that a problem? It ain't.
Upset because he's gay and 2 women raped him.
Anywho,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, some of those very special episodes really got out there.
Yeah, they were really stretching in the 80s with their free.
Do you not remember that episode where he got raped by 2 women?
Oh, yeah, that's my. I think it's the only episode I do remember.
I did he just keeps going with it.
Yeah, you remember it, right? It was the episode. You know the one where he got raped by 2 women.
Remember?
There were 2 of them, and they raped him.
Well, I think we got the title for this week's episode of the podcast.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, thank you. That would be a good one.
What happened to that guy?
I know one thing.
Jim J Bullock?
Yeah.
I know one thing that happened to him.
He got raped by 2 women.
That's all I got.
That was too close for comfort.
Oh.
Let's see. He's been in something. Let's see. Let's look real quick.
The last time I saw him, he played like a flight attendant or something. And he did. I'm not making this shit up. He played a flight attendant on an episode or something.
Okay.
I think he was the pilot, and PMR
Not
just
the pilot.
assumed he's a flight attendant.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he was not the pilot.
They
Interesting.
would never let a gay man fly a plane.
No, of course
No,
not.
that's not what I'm saying.
I know. It's just
I'm just saying that he was the flight attendant. I didn't cast him. But somebody did.
I think he was just a sassy pilot, but
He was.
sassy pirate.
he was great in Spaceballs. Let's see.
Jim J Bullock was in Spaceballs?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he was the
Prince Valium.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't remember that.
Well, you have to go watch it.
He was in one episode of Glee in 2015.
Oh.
Seems like that's his last IMDb credit.
I will say, though, I mean, he aged quite well. I guess it was just moisturizer and stuff.
It could have been his skincare routine.
That may be a new low.
I don't know. We started off
Talking
pretty.
about Jim J Bullocks skincare routine. We're completely out of ideas. This is it.
Oh, Jesus.
We hadn't done a podcast in 2 months, and that's
This is what we've come to.
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his IMDb. I'm sorry, I want to find out where he played a flight attendant at.
Jesus.
Dying to know.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Oh,
Go.
oh God.
He played Bernie and Bill. You know what I think was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
He played a flight attendant in Curb?
No.
All that conversation just to come to that conclusion.
Oh, because I made one joke about Jim J Bullock, and now we've gone down this rabbit hole.
Now, he is dead or no?
No, he's alive.
Okay, he's just not working.
Put him on the Deadpool.
Hey, here's his movies. Rick and Steve, The Happiest Gay Couple.
Okay.
Queer Duck, the movie. Men's Mix, Gay Short Collection.
What are you reading here?
Gaydar. I'm reading his IDBM.
Okay, well, that
IDBM.
makes sense then.
Are all of these streaming?
I think he's
on
reading
Pornhub?
the IGDM.
Yeah.
In playing Kissing Jessica Stein, he played the not yet out gay guy.
Ah, interesting. We should have known from those titles.
I guess.
Duckman.
Duckman.
He played in Roseanne. Boom! Seinfeld. Attendant.
Sassy attendant. Okay.
There you go.
Well, you have got a memory of
Of useless
adamantium there, pal.
Well, you know.
PMR forgets nothing.
When it comes to
Mine like a
useless
steel
information.
trap.
He was in 5 episodes of Al.
Mine like a steel trap. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out.
You know, the man's like 65 years old, and he looks every bit of.
Yeah, well, there
Well,
you go.
you know what we would be remiss if we didn't mention that our favorite television detective is back for another season.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, here we go.
We got a brand new season of Bosch Legacy.
I just cannot believe that they didn't kill his daughter off.
Well, here's the thing: she was kidnapped by a serial rapist when last we saw her.
He was just,
Right. And you can tell they've taken some of the feedback because the first 2 episodes, J. Edgar's there the whole time, and Crate and Barrel are back. And so is Mank. Mank is back too. So you've got 4 of the cast members from the Bosch TV show are back heavily in the first 2 episodes.
I always liked J. Edgar. He's a good guy.
So it seems like they realized that Bosch, Maddie, and the cigar store Indian can't carry the show by themselves.
Mimi Rogers.
She looks. There is one scene when Bosch comes to her house right after Maddie's been kidnapped, and she answers the door. And I mean, kudos for her answering the door, like, and going for realism and not wearing any makeup.
Oof.
But it is.
Nobody wants to see that.
It is jarring.
I always say that because no one wants to see me answer.
It is
without your skincare routine, without PMR skincare routine.
She needs some pointers from Jim J Bullock.
Nobody will see that.
No.
It's rough. It is hard to watch. But yeah, so she does. She looks like a cigar store Indian. Like, I can't get it out of my head. Like
Bosch, the guy who plays Bosch, or where the fuck his name is. It's like he didn't bring anybody with him from the old show that were like, you know, and that's not hard because everybody was better than Bosch from the old show, except his daughter and Mimi Rogers. And so he's like, I'm gonna bring these two.
They're not going to show me up.
They won't. And he's right.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are all them finding Maddie and trying to locate Maddie and all that nonsense. And
when they find her dead, but
I don't know if they recast the serial rapist. I think they did. I don't think because the guy that's the serial rapist was Roy from The Office, and that dude is not aged well either.
Oh wow,
really?
Yeah, he's put on about 60 pounds and lost 45% of his hair.
No shit.
Yeah. So Roy from The Office is not aged well.
No good skincare routine from him.
And he's a rapist.
Son of a bitch.
But he's not a killer. He didn't kill Maddie.
At least he didn't get raped by 2 women.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
I mean,
all positives, people, positives.
All positives. But yeah, so Bosch is back, and I think it's like 4 episodes deep at this point. So yeah,
Bosch,
we can bring it back, guys. The ratings juggernaut, the Bosch cast.
The Bosch cast. People always chimed in and saying they really miss the Bosch cast.
yeah. I think half our listeners out there are probably going, what's Bosch? I don't know anybody.
Listeners will be like, who's the pod man? Fuck Bosch.
Detective Hieronymus Bosch, known as Harry, is a Hollywood detective who feels like everyone counts or no one counts.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you know what? He's a rebel. He's a maverick. You know, he goes his own way.
No matter how much you want him to stop,
he's going to go.
He won't. Including the viewer. No matter how much the viewer wants him to stop, he won't.
God, he's got that guy is such a bad actor. Ugh.
I'm convinced. I don't know how I'm supposed to watch it. I'm convinced the only reason I got through the first series was just Lance Reddick. Goddamn, Lance Reddick was me. Every time I was so sick of Bosch's shit, I couldn't take any more. They'd show Lance Reddick going Bosch, like he summarized just how annoyed I was with Bosch every time Lance Reddick showed up, because Lance Reddick fucking hated Bosch.
He hated Bosch. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so too. I mean, I have never, and I've said this before, I've never watched a show where I liked the show so much that I hated the main actor. So he is the worst character in his own show. Everybody else around him is great. The show's great. The stories are great.
Bosch.
Oh God.
But not this guy. Whew, God damn.
Maybe one day he'll learn.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
But you
Well,
keep
just some
coming
of the
back.
shit he gets away with.
It's like a toxic ex.
You just can't get away.
Just can't get away from him.
Now, I did give up on Lincoln Lawyer. I said, fuck it. Like,
You know what? It's funny you said that. By the time season 2 came out, I tried to start watching it, and I was like, I got 10 minutes into it and got bored with it. Couldn't remember the first season and just.
well, it's the exact same plot as the first season. Like, somebody hires him to be their lawyer because they're actually guilty, and now he knows that they're guilty and he can't do anything about it. It's the exact same shit that happened in the first season. But my gripe with it is he's a black hole of charisma. So it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah. Anyway, so that's, I guess we're checking in on the Bosch, because they're in the same universe. Lincoln Lawyer and Bosch. They're actually half brothers. So anyway, that's it for the Bosch cast. Tune in next week.
Yeah.
Tune in next the Bosch cast.
All right.
Wow.
That's some dead air right there.
That's some dead air. Anybody else got anything they're watching? Check it out.
Nope.
Brad,
No.
what do you do, Brad? You not watching anything?
Not really.
Nothing?
No, nothing to speak of.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Brad, this is about the time when you would normally re-wrapping us.
Yes, an hour and 30 minutes here. So, I think I don't know what we accomplished, but
Did you cover anything really?
we didn't. I don't know if we really covered anything except for
we
Rebels.
got to get our groove back. It's been a while.
It takes a while.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We've been out. So I think we'll get our groove back. We'll get that 200th episode in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we can do a live one the week of Thanksgiving.
We can
Well, hey,
thank
I
you.
got what's the next? The Marvels is coming out too. So
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect time to get the family together.
So
We'll
wait
make
a
some
minute.
chili.
The Marvels for $1.99, and when Brian comes up, we can do a live episode when Brian comes up for the 200 episode.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
Oh, how's AL3X PMR?
Good, very good. He's fantastic. Awesome. He's waiting
Awesome.
to see him, man.
Yeah, we built a robot since last we were on the podcast. Me and PMR, we checked off one of his bucket list items and built a robot.
He got a new son.
Got a new son.
You got a new son.
Where's he at right now? Is he still in the kitchen?
He's been moved.
Where's he been moved to? It feels like he's trying to change the subject.
He's in a corner. He's in the corner of the living room, facing the corner of the wall.
He's tucked into my bed. He's tucked into my bed upstairs
With a backwards baseball cap on.
That was the creepiest shit.
That was the best Halloween decoration that they would put
She
out
kept it
over
up
there.
year round. It wasn't Halloween. Man, that was
just
some
hoping
creepy shit, Alex.
It was very creepy.
And what's weird is it looked like Alex.
Alex
she
being
had it about
it was like a
5
Blair
years
Witch
before
thing.
Alex was
Yeah.
conceived.
I forgot about that thing. Oh God.
Well, PMR,
The corner kid.
next time I see you, I'll bring over Grayson's Meccano, and you can have a second shot there.
Can I have another one?
Hey, or we can give him additional arms and limbs.
There you go. You can add on. I asked Grayson afterwards. I'm like, hey, you want to put that together now? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, that's good enough. Box it up, take it to Goodwill.
We'll take it to Goodwill. We can build a second one.
All right.
And yeah. We've already given AL3X a mustache.
Yeah. Well,
So now we can tell we can distinguish them and tell them apart.
Sombrero. So
Is he still wearing his sombrero?
We'll call the new one
wearing sombrero.
N4NCE. N4NC3.
Well, we named the other one. What was it? BR. What'd you call it?
Oh yeah, BR4D.
PR4D. AL3X. BR4D.
I bet he'll go see William Shatner with me.
Yeah, you'll take your 2 robot friends there. Bill would love to see
Take my
them
2
too.
robot friends to William Shatner.
3 for William Shatner experience.
1 adult, 2 children, child robots.
God damn you. Since you won't go, fuck you.
I'm going to take your robot clone.
I'm taking the robots. Road trip robots.
I maybe.
Don't talk to him. That's the sad old man over there.
That sounds like a good idea, Father. Maybe I will go. I will let you know next week.
He probably still wouldn't want to go with me. William Shatner. I can't even get my robot to go.
Oh, it's pretty funny.
All right. Well, we ended with a good note there. I love it.
There you go.
All right. Well, we've got some good ideas for next episode. Too bad we didn't have some before this one, but we're getting there. Like
Next
PMR
episode,
says.
we can have AL3X chime in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
I'll power it up next time.
Yeah.
He's always listening.
Until next time. I forgot how to close it out.
Save it for the podcast.
There we go.